So there has been a lot of information about the Global Dokkan Campaign Part 2, just coming out over the past few hours. I mean, we've talked about Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Omega Shenron, them being standalone characters and things like that, but they did just drop a new wave of information that I do want to cover here. And later today, we'll be having a bunch of videos just talking about what these characters could potentially do, because I think there's a lot of talk to be said about them. Like, even Gogeta has like leader skill, even like his link set, which is really funny. There's actually a discussion to be made, like Saiyan Roar, is he gonna have it? Maybe stuff like that, right? So, lots of content about Gogeta, but even Omega, like domain kind of like theory here. So like I'm very excited, but again, I want to talk about these little extra, I guess, pieces of content that are coming out. Some people may not consider this specifically content, but I personally do. I think that limited time buffs are a form of content, especially for older players, and especially since these characters are technically available to get for free, and I assume could very well also be on the banner. So again, we see here 3 more characters will be soon strengthened for a limited time. Now, I did basically kind of predict we'll see something like this again. I said we need this in part 2 to add more characters to this limited time character boost campaign, where we got the Tech Vegito into Vegito Blue and the Int Goku Black Rose from the 5th anniversary. Both of these characters did actually get buffs, and we are indeed getting 3 characters added. I thought that they would only do 2, but they're adding 3 right here. So we do have the 4th anniversary Age-O LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku getting limited time buffs. We do have the same 4th anniversary Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta getting buffs. And then the second part of the 4th anniversary, the Super Baby 2 is specifically getting buffs as well. Now, I think this can mean a lot of like things for potentially even leader skills of the new characters. Like, what leader skills will Gogeta have? Of course, we don't know he's going to lead one category, right? But Omega Shenron, I think this really points to this guy either, again, being Inhuman Deeds, I could see, or GT bosses. Since it's a standalone Omega, I don't actually think he'll be on Transformation Boost, unfortunately, which really does suck, but it is what it is. I mean, we'll see what they do. But again, I think these guys getting buffs, I talked about this, could be really, really good for the current hardest fight in the game, funny enough, which is the Goku Black and Zamasu fight. In fact, let me go ahead and bring this up right now. But if you guys notice, of course, I'm sure many of you guys have played the fight. This is a 2 enemy stage here. Now, Goku will have a little bit of a disadvantage, of course, against the Zamasu being type disadvantage plus the locking. But not only do both of these guys have counters, but if you take a look here, when attacking with 24 ki or using the active, both of these characters do actually interrupt the attacked enemy, so they have an action break, which is really good in these fights because, again, Zamasu attacks 4 times, Goku Black attacks 6 times. Like, you could very easily, especially for Zamasu, you could snipe his super attack, you could snipe his heal. Zamasu technically only has 3 attacks in the turn, so I think, you will have, if it's not going to be, like, you're either going to know you're going to snipe his heal, which getting rid of his 10% heal where your heal's 25 mil HP is very valuable, but sniping his super attack could be really good as well. And when you're attacking Goku Black, by the time you get around to doing that, these guys' active skills will be up, so you could just, like, get Goku Black's, like, AoE out of there, or his super attack. Like, there's a lot of value with action break, I feel like, in this fight. Maybe that's one of the things that, people don't really talk about too much, and that's why I was really excited for either one of these 2 to get buffs, but it seems like they're both actually getting these buffs, which is really exciting. And not even just that, again, these guys just link very well with, like, LR Super Saiyan 4, Goku, LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here. So even like this guy right here, again, they're not infused fighters, but I'm sure in many other teams you'll be able to use them together. And what Dokkan usually does, and again, this could be applied for what Baby's helping too, is Dokkan usually will buff these teams throughout the reins of the celebration, let's take a look at Goku Black's team. Goku Black came out, we got all the clones with him. This is something that is very uncommon for them to drop a whole team at once. But that's something that they, did for Goku Black here. Then a few days later, we got Super Saiyan Rose's Super EZA. Then a week later, basically, we got Fusion Zamasu's EZA, where all characters added to this team, doing different things for the team. Really nice, right? And a better example would be Tao, right? Tao came out with General Blue as the battle unit. A few days later, Gainyu's EZA came out. Doesn't really match, to be fair, but he is a mission execution character. You could kind of run maybe some sort of version of the team like that. But then I think most notably, we got Tien, we got Yamcha, right? Really nice. I could also even count Zamasu Goku for this Goku Black team. But again, this is the span of over a month. We could take a look at Hit. Hit came out with Magetta. Then we got Hit and God Goku added to his team a few days later. Then, of course, after that, we actually got the LR Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla and Kale. Then we got Tech, Caulifla and Kale, EZA. Then, even recently we got Champa. Like, these teams are buffed over a period of time, and that's how Dokkan works. But having characters buffed at the start of the celebration to help out until the team is built is really huge. Because again, for example, like with the Goku Black team, we got into Goku Black from the 5th anniversary to have his temporary buffs. But then now we have Fusion Zamasu basically could take his place, or even Eijo Rose who could basically take his place, right? Where, okay, now that we have the team fully set up, even when into Goku Black's buff leaves, it's not that big of an impact on the team. So the same thing could be said for, whatever team they're trying to build for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, we don't know just yet. And again, that could be like a whole different topic. Chat, I'm letting y'all know I'm milking the hell out of this guy. And I'm sure you guys will be here to watch it. You guys obviously like the content, right? If you're this far in the video, I think you like the content. This guy's on the milking table. Leader skill, like even link skills. Again, you could have a pretty good discussion about will this guy hits like Saiyan War again. So there's a lot to talk about with this guy, but these characters kind of lead me to thinking one of the two choices for a leader skill, but we'll see what they do. And then with Super Baby 2, again, like I said, GT bosses or Inhuman Deeds can make a lot of sense. Ideally Inhuman Deeds instead of GT bosses, but who knows? Honestly, knowing them, they'll give Omega GT bosses as a leader. But yeah, again, that's pretty much it for the limited time buffs. Baby, again, always having nice villains could help, but we do actually have a bunch of other details about the content. Oh, I brought this up here, the extra buffs. Like, this is the kind of idea of what the buffs we could see. I could see Baby probably getting the lower amount of buffs because he has multiplicative stats already. But Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta actually do not have any multiplicative stats. They do have the 100% attack and defense raise, right, on their super attack effect. But, it would be nice for them to actually get the, I don't know. There's a bunch of extra stats, right? Maybe, man, like, what stats do they have to be start of turn? Because it's like, these normals are hitting so hard at this point. Like, Goku Black's normals, like, get into, like, closer to the 10 mil range sometimes, man. Like, what defense will they need, considering they have no damage reduction or anything like that? Will be very interesting to see what they do. They also have the counters, which could be nice. I don't think they would, like, do anything for that, though. But again, we do have extra information on upcoming content besides the limited time buff characters. If we take a look here, a new event has arrived. Win a serious battle against the Blazing Sun Warrior. So Nova Shenron is actually getting a Prime Battle LR, which is, I think, really cool. Now, I think a lot of people might have seen this and are a little worried. Again, on social media, people seem to be pretty excited because, again, this implies no clones or shadow dragons whatsoever. You don't think there goes two types of effective for you to play characters in the same part. And I would say, again, if we take a look here, there's no announcement of like a free-to-play team at all, like no Gogeta clones. There's no announcement for a shadow dragon team. So whilst that is, of course, a little unfortunate, I think, we have to wait and see when it comes to that, right? And if you're worried about like, oh, this is a free-to-play LR, he's probably gonna suck, I wouldn't jump to that conclusion. We recently had Prime Battle TNZZA, which is definitely not good, and Mercenary Tao wasn't the greatest, but I think this Zamasu Goku was pretty good for a Super Easy AI, like a free-to-play LR. I think they did do this guy justice. He's kind of not really talked about, but he's a very, like, overall decent to good free-to-play option, extra character you could throw on the Goku Black team. I mean, especially with the debuffs this guy has, like, you know, he's pretty good. And if we do get like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, like hardest fight in the game, I mean, we know this is being updated, the Global Dokkan Special Battle 2025, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Omega standalone fights. Like, if this guy is like debuffable, this character could be really good there. And Nova, maybe he has a lot of debuffs in his kit, but again, we also had other good free-to-play LRs in terms of, where is this guy? Him, and I want to bring up, where is he? These two characters on release were both really good. Bio Broly was really good for a free-to-play character. I mean, this guy had the really high damage reduction rate. This guy had a target skill ability, right? Really good. Huge fan of what this Bio Broly was on release. Unfortunately, you know, he did age out pretty quickly in terms of like the grand scheme of things, because of how content went towards being really, really long. But again, for the time that this guy came out, very crazy. Super Saiyan Bardock is really good as well. I mean, again, he does want these specific type of enemies, but in those fights, like, this guy could cook even right now. Super Saiyan Bardock was a really good character. And what they're doing now is they're making these characters, you know, as good as they are without having to EZA. Again, as we see with the clones. So hopefully this trend continues. And again, Nova Shenron has never really had a great card either. So like, it would be nice to have an actual good Nova. Now this is the super class Nova, so I don't really want to deeply like kind of read into this, because again, he's on, for example, Resurrect Warriors, Worthy Rivals. This is not the Nova Shenron we're going to be talking about. It's going to be this guy: Shocking Speed, Gentleman, Cold Judgment, GT, Shadow Dragons, Shattering the Limit. I hope what they do with this guy is they give him big bad bosses, right? Not a huge expectation, and not something I'm really thinking that he will really get, but we've seen them make exceptions in the past. This guy has 6 links, so we know he's gonna get like legendary power. The link that Physical Nova has, I didn't mean to close that, is the revival link. But we never had like a Nova Shenron with the amount of like 7 max links here. Because like even this character has a Gentleman, which is very funny that this character has Gentleman, right? And I think that's the, what's the link that gets added? I actually don't know what's the link here that gets added. Shocking Speed? Yeah, no. Brutal Beatdown? It's Brutal Beatdown. So like, I could see a world where they give this guy big bad bosses, because this is specifically the Nova that fights Super Saiyan 4 Goku. But we'll see. I'm not gonna expect it. I just kind of fingers crossed, hoping that they're nice, like, and make good decisions for once. That'd be awesome. Like, you know, kind of like, not like this. Like, dude, I'm sorry. It's kind of sad. Vegeto's so disrespected. Oh my god, the quality is awful. But like, seeing the blues next to just Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, it's sad. Like, imagine this was Fusion Zamasu and Blue Vegeta right there. That would have been pretty good. But they probably didn't want to make things too similar to 2023. But it's like, okay, and then why do you feature Saga in the first place? Like, I don't know. Either way, like, yeah, this is kind of silly, but make this guy good, please. Fingers crossed here. And again, stages 3 and 4 have arrived. Hopefully these are short debuffable fights. We know that we will be getting long fights in part 2 as well, per the actual votes in the Twitter polls, so we'll see what happens. Daima's story event is getting updated. This is actually going to be the climax, so we're going to see Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku here, actually, like the adult version. Very, very possible In fact, I would say it's more likely than not. We already saw mini Super Saiyan 4, but it is funny that this event kind of amounted to nothing. And then here is the stage 13 added for the Dragon Ball GT Shadow Dragon Saga event, and I believe this is Shadow Dragon Saga EX Skill Orbs. I hope that doesn't mean that one of these characters will lead Shadow Dragon Saga. That would be really funny, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So again, hopefully not. Now, one final thing to talk about here is the fact that, again, Rick did confirm it looks like there's going to be a week with 2 data downloads. The announcement states that the Shadow Dragon Saga story event is going to preparation on the 22nd GST, probably in about 18 hours, which will actually be later today. So we're going to get a lot of information for part 2 later today still. But then the special battle specifically is going away on the 23rd, which I guess makes sense because it should be after the stream with the LRs, which again, we know it's also going to be on the 23rd JST. So with all that being said, there should be 2 data downloads, and this one on the 23rd will have the LRs, which, you know, we'll see what happens with like the actual data download when the LRs drop. It'll be very interesting to see what exactly happens with this LR drop. But yeah, anyways, that's basically all there is to talk about in terms of, you know, the new buffs and the new content upcoming. So I'll be here covering everything. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate y'all watching, and catch you guys next time.